Hello. Hi, nice to see you.
Thank you.
And I noticed you arrived just a couple of minutes ago, because you've already been to another conference today, because today there are 3 parallel conferences on AI in Halden, one for the academic circles, one for business, which is here, and then also one for public sector, and that's where you were now. And I know that the overarching topic in this year's program is responsible and practical use of AI in the public sector, and that inevitably brings us to the issue of skills and expertise. So what is your impression, Minister, of the level of AI competence in Norway today, whether we're talking about this sector, the public, the private sector, or the public sector?
Well, thank you, and thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity for me to attend the AI Plus conference here in Halden. I'm really impressed that you're doing this for the 7th year in a row. I really think that proves the concept of Halden as an IT city, so congratulations on that one. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we saw this report. I think it was from, it might have been from Microsoft, that Norwegian people are best in the world to personally use AI tools. So in our spare time, we use it a lot, but we don't see exactly the same numbers for when we are at work. So we use it personally and privately, but we do not use it as much when we attend work. And I think the numbers are pretty the same for public sector and for the business sector. Yesterday, I attended the meeting of Tech Norway. They had a new report showing that public sector is a little bit better in Norway than the private sector, but I would say it's almost the same. And there is a huge gap talking about skills. Some of us are really at the top, knowing everything, but some are really hesitant and nervous and uncertain and unwilling to take place in this AI race. So we have to do a good job across the gap, I would say, to raise the bottom line when it comes to skill and competence, and to do better as a team Norway, really.
Because the widespread use of AI on our own private time doesn't say much about the quality of our use. So what are you and your government thinking of doing to sort of shorten that gap between the use and the quality/competence of our use?
I suspect that our use on our spare time is about how to get the best recipe and the best jogging route and so forth. That's good. However, we need to use it with some more efficiency at work. We are doing a lot of things. I don't have the time to tell about them all, but of course we are now working with the infrastructure of AI. We are building more high-performance capacity in Norway through our supercomputer Olivia. We are talking about how we can access the supercomputers being built in the private sector in Norway, as for Telenor or for Aker or other data centers that are building these AI factories as well. We are building the Norwegian language models, both in our Norwegian languages, but also in the Sami language. That is also very important. Right now, the Parliament is debating and will be, in 2 weeks' time, debating a new data sharing and data governance law, because data is the oxygen of AI. So we really need to share and govern data better to kind of raise the pace. Talking about competence, we have, of course, a new ICT education and more studieplasser. Oh my God.
Well, more room for the students.
Yeah, more students, simply. But also building AI as a competence in other educations. I think that is as important as well, because the future work of a nurse or a teacher or an engineer will be different than today. So building AI into other types of education, which I know the universities are doing right now, is really important as well. So we need to do several things at the same time.
And we probably need to speed things up as well. We mentioned the university sector earlier on this morning, that they can't even publish books anymore because they're already outdated once they come out, and also increasing then the digital capacity within the educational institution is extremely important. But digital sovereignty, you mentioned, LLMs on Norwegian and Sami languages and so on. That's a hot topic at the moment, and we're going to touch upon it later on today. And you've said yourself that you want Norway to be less dependent on a handful of suppliers and nations, maybe. How are we going to achieve that?
Okay, just give me 2 minutes to talk about this because it's a really complex topic. Hot topic, but complex topic. Digitalization is not one thing. Digital sovereignty is not one thing. It is a whole stack. It is about access to critical minerals. It is about access to microchip. It is about the fiber network, fiber cables, sea cables. It is about data center. It is about data. It is about competence, research. It is about hardware and software. Many layers in this stack. Yeah. For me, it is important that we have national control. And what is national control? We can do national control in several ways. We can do it through ownership in companies, like we do. We have some ownerships, like in Telenor and others. We can do it through national regulation. That is maybe the main tool. We have the Security Act, Sikkerhetsloven in Norway. We have the law about electronic communication. Yep. We have anskaffelsesregelverk and so forth. That is a way to make sure that we have the national control. Also, the ability to act if something happens is about national control. We have done that in previous years. There was a famous case in Norway about the Bergen engine case. That was one way to act if you gonna have national control. We also had it in the components in the digital infrastructure a couple of years ago when we saw there was a lot of components from Huawei, for instance. We don't have that so much now. Now it's all Nokia and Ericsson. Chinese, so many layers, okay? But the main issue that, or why we are debating now digital sovereignty is, among other things, that Norwegian public sector, 75% uses Microsoft. I don't think it is like an issue that it is Microsoft. Well, that's not the main issue. The main issue is the market concentration that we have. That makes us really vulnerable. If something happens with Microsoft, it doesn't have to be Donald Trump that happens. It can be a cyber attack. It can be data centers that goes down. So that's why I set down this task force now to look into our vulnerabilities in the public sector and to suggest measures that we will act on. I will be given a report now in a couple of weeks from this task force to see what we can do that makes us less vulnerable. And also I already said that we need to look into having this open source strategy, and we need also to set more stricter demands to have open formats in the public sector so that we can get away from these lock-in issues as well. So it's easier for us to change suppliers if we need to. And the third way, of course, is to make sure that we can build Norwegian and European alternatives for cloud services and softwares. But okay, we are discussing this because we get nervous about this precedent overseas. But we don't know what happened in 5-10 years either. Like in Europe, we have Alternative for Deutschland, we have Marie Le Pen, we have political risk in Europe as well. So this just only shows that we need to know about our vulnerabilities and we need to have the ability to act if something happens. That is what digital sovereignty is about. Yeah, and there's no doubt you're really engaged in this topic. Yeah, and it was more than 2 minutes, sorry. Yeah. No, we're just happy to have you here, but I know that you have to leave Halden shortly. Yeah. Like now. Yeah, we have 2 minutes, I can say. Because I was just wondering, just a tiny final question, maybe a more personal note, because you know, you probably heard some of them. We've been talking about how AI tools can make leaders better leaders. What are your? I mean, how are you personally using AI to do a better job? I don't know if I use it to do a better job. I use it to get a more efficient life, like, for example, what movie to watch if you have a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old and adults, and recipes. I don't have the time, actually, to use it so much in my job, but I use it mainly for research, looking into what other countries are doing in this field, for instance, to get short summaries and stuff. That is maybe the main way I use it. But, of course, in my ministry, they use AI as for preparedness for my speeches, for instance, and other stuff. But we still have a long way to go, I would say. We are not the most efficient entity in public sector using AI yet. So I'm really eager to get the pace up in-house as well.
Yeah.
And my last word is that this is really all about leadership. Okay, it is about the possibilities that the technology brings, but in the end, it is a responsibility for the leaders in the different businesses and entities and agencies to really make sure that they use the technology for good and for real purpose and real value, and not just add power to a paper. And that demands leadership and new ways of organizing your businesses and business models and the people that you have access to. So that is my kind of approach to you here today, is to take the leadership responsibility that this demands to make sure that AI really is a success for Norwegian businesses as well.
Karianne and Tung, thank you so much for being here with us in Halden today, and good luck with, I mean, it's a pretty big stack of tasks that you have ahead of you, so good luck with that. And of course, the book that I mentioned before you came, it's definitely yours. So there you are.
I might have been given it already. I'm not. Yes, it's in my car already. So the book travels faster than me. And the reason I unfortunately have to leave is that I have to attend Parliament, and you don't kind of fuck up with the Parliament nowadays in Norway. So sorry for that, but I have to leave. Thank you, and really good luck with the rest of the conference here in Halden today as well.
Thank you so much, Karianne.